all of those things you laid out were known long before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And many Americans, in reflecting the 64%, certainly understand a father's point of view. But the president was declarative, you were declarative. You didn't give room for, depending on the outcome of the election or depending on the rhetoric coming from the potential next administration, the certainty with which the president and you portrayed the no pardon is part of where the question comes from. Because all the facts that you have outlined were well known in advance.
And I would add, there has been some circumstances that have changed this, right? Republicans not letting up, saying they won't stop, they're going to continue to do this. I mentioned the recent Trump appointees of legal enforcement positions, right? That said during the campaign they would have, they were out for retribution, and so no reason to not take them for the word. I pointed that. There was a sentencing coming up, as you all know.
That was well known.
I said there are multiple factors here. Not one thing led to this. Multiple factors, and if you look at all of these, it's a combination of reasons why the president wrestled with this over the weekend and made this decision.
Now that you've had time, and the president has had time to absorb how the public has responded to this, to think on it further, does he have any concerns about the fact that he had been so declarative and then granted this pardon? It's clearly done, and many Americans understand as a father how he would do that. But does he have concern about his credibility or the impact it might have on future pardons?
So, and I will also say, just to bring up Clyburn again, because I think it's important, right? Because you were asking me what we said over the summer. Clyburn spoke to the president 2 weeks ago, and the president, he said, this is Clyburn's words, the president was reticent when he tried to encourage him to pardon Hunter Biden, and I think that is his son, obviously, and I think that's important to note. Look, I would refer you back to the last couple of sentences in the president's statement, and I think it's important here where he talked about wrestling this and wanting to understanding that the American people are fair-minded, and talked about the importance of doing this and thinking about this over the weekend and coming to this decision and how he wrestled with it. And that was, I think, a message directly to the American people. The whole comprehensive statement was something that he wanted to share with the American people. But I think the way he ended his statement actually acknowledges and wanted to be very clear to the American people his own personal thinking about this, and understanding that they would look at this, and he believed they would be fair-minded about it. And this was not easy for the president. It wasn't. Because you all mentioned the statements that we have made over the summer. So obviously this wasn't easy to come to this decision.
He could have reserved the right to consider it later. And when he's that declarative as the President of the United States, that's where it carries weight.
No, I understand. And Kelly, you know this president. You followed him during his vice presidency, right? You have covered him. When he's asked a question directly, he answers it directly.
So we are where we are. So does he regret that he had misled the public about what would eventually happen?
Look, what I will say is he laid out his thought process. He talked about the underlying facts of the case. He thought it was very important. That was part of the first paragraph of his statement, wanting to explain and talking about the gun charges, right? Talking about the tax cases, and wanting to make sure that they understood, like, these types of things would not be a normal reason to prosecute, right? Virtually no one would be criminally prosecuted with felony offenses with these facts. Whether it's absent aggravated factors, similar charges are rarely brought. When you think about gun charges, the tax cases, such as Hunter's, when taxes are repaid with penalties, are rarely criminally charged. They are handled civilly, and these are the things that the legal experts also agreed with him on, and so he wanted to lay that out for the American people as well. And I, don't have anything else beyond what the president laid out, his thinking in his written statement, in his words. I just don't have anything beyond that.